Go for it.
All right. Hello, everyone. Ilan Asbel here. Thank you for joining me today. It is a nice small webinar today. Obviously, the price of Euro USD and the announcement right now is more popular than I am, which is fine with me, absolutely fine with me. So we've got a very small room. It's just 11 attendees, but it's all good. Let's make it nice and cozy. So I'll be able to handle this on my own. I do have Errol in the background here supporting me in this webinar to answer any technical questions if you can. Otherwise, you'll just type the questions in the question box, and I'll handle them. The topic today again is actually getting started with Autochartist. We were actually supposed to have a more in-depth trading webinar today, but since last week's insane volatility on the Swiss franc, Autochartist has actually hit record user numbers. It looks like everyone's looking for the answer, and they're coming for Autochartist for the answer. And so we're hitting record user numbers, and so decided today to do another getting started webinar for all our new users in our community. But I have told Errol to try and schedule something more in depth in terms of trading styles and strategies with Autochartist, maybe for the next week instead of waiting for 2 weeks' time. But we'll see how that goes. So without further ado, let me get going and giving you a very brief overview of Autochartist, of the Autochartist platform. Again, I'm not going to be going in depth into how to actually trade using Autochartist. I'm just going to point you to the different sections of Autochartist and give you the general concepts of what it is. So Autochartist is really in the business of doing two things. It's in the business of identifying support and resistance levels in the market, and it's in the business of providing some kind of stop and limit and stop order levels for you. So we try assist you in finding trading opportunities using psychological levels in the market. That's the word support and resistance. And then once you're in the market, or if you're in the market using some other technique, whether it's Autochartist or not, we try to help you set some stop losses and take profits. So really, what we're trying to do is we're not a black box system that tells you buy and sell and buy and sell. We are another tool in your arsenal to try and help you make better, more informed trading decisions. So I'm going to start off by showing you first the opportunities we identify in the Forex market. I'm pretty sure that today's audience is mostly Forex traders. That's what we've had last week. So I'm going to assume the same instead of spending time actually taking some polls. We at Autochartist identify support and resistance in 3 different forms. And you can see that if you click on the results filter button over here, we have those 3 forms listed. We identify them in the form of chart patterns, in the form of Fibonacci patterns, and in the form of key levels. Now, those are 3 kind of support and resistance levels that we identify. And let me go through each one of them so I can quickly describe all of them to you and the differences of all of them. Okay, so firstly, chart patterns. Chart patterns are really the movement of a price between support and resistance levels. And I'm clicking through a few different types of chart patterns for you, and you can see quite distinctly that Autochartist does a pretty good job of identifying price movement or price action between support and resistance. Right, and what it does, it alerts you to 2 different things. First, it alerts you to a movement between the lines. Right, so in this example here, pound New Zealand dollar is trading between support and resistance. Okay, and then the second type of chart pattern it identifies for you is a breakout. So this is another example. Euro HUF has just broken through a support level, and we've provided a forecast going to a 31388. Right. So if you are a very, very short-term trader and you like to take a lot of risk and trade really short term, you can have a look at these opportunities with these gray arrows. These gray arrow means that the price has not yet broken through support or resistance. It's still what we call approaching or emerging. If you want to trade the breakouts, right, if you're a trend trader, you can actually trade the breakouts. So you can see over here, this is a head and shoulders. We think it's a breakout pattern, and we think that the price is going up to of GBP CAD up to 188.54. That's obviously a long-term pattern. We can see that because it was identified on a daily interval. Um, uh, and it's the whole pattern length was actually 85 candles in length, which means that the pattern formation took 85 days for this pattern to form. Right. There's a lot of these kind of examples, and I'll leave it to you to go through them in your time. Again, you can see here Euro CAD, very strong breakout through a resistance level. And we think it's aiming for 145.51. Right. So different kinds of strategies. Whether if you're a breakout trader or a trend trader, then trade the lines with the green or red arrows. If you're a swing trader, then you can actually just select the emerging patterns, and then you can trade the movements between the lines. In a similar fashion, we identify Fibonacci patterns. I am actually not very knowledgeable in Fibonacci patterns. Some people call them harmonic patterns, some people call them Fibonacci patterns. We identify harmonic patterns like butterfly and Gartley, and they have quite a big following. I am not an expert of them. I don't really trade them that much. I trade primarily chart patterns and key levels, which I'll get to in just a moment. But you can see quite clearly that you have the ability to scroll through these Fibonacci patterns that Autochartist has identified on the currency pairs or other instruments that you have. And I'm going to move quickly on because I don't like to talk about things that I don't really understand or know about. So I'm going to quickly move on to support and resistance levels. And here are some examples of support resistance levels that Autochartist identifies. Okay, so a few candles ago we identified this this emerging GBP pound opportunity. You can see that what happened. I'm actually zooming in there. Autochartist identified the pound to go long at around 151.48. We said it would reach 151.65. It's actually gone through that all the way up to a high of 152.08. So that was a pretty good call. This is what we call a approaching resistance level. Approaching resistance because when we identified it, it had not yet broken through the resistance level. And I just saw the message from Roshan. Roshan just made 15K from EURUSD. Dude, please tell me that was a live account, Roshan. Was that a live account? Roshan, answer me. Was that a live account? was that a demo account? Roshan's not answering. He's probably jumping around his room, waving his arms in the air, and having a drink for all of us. Okay, well done, Roshan, on making 15K on EURUSD. Okay, let's get back to the webinar. All right, so you can see that Autochartist did a pretty good job of identifying this resistance level at 151.65. It touched it at numerous occasions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. It looks like the price of this instrument hit that level, and finally there was a breakout. And it went all the way north. Okay, there's some more examples, and of course just as in chart patterns, we identify both approaching and breakout patterns. So here is an example in EuroCAD where we identified this very strong breakout through a resistance level of 142.06, and we provide a forecast up to 145.25. Now, of course, I never promote anybody simply just trading blindly on Autochartist, right? You got to just use Autochartist as another input for your trading strategy, right? And you can look at the entire market with Autochartist. So let's have a look at commodities. Looks like there's some new patterns on commodities that have been found. Oh, some emerging patterns over here. Something new on natural gas. Big surprise. Okay, so natural gas looks like, it's trending downwards. Although we have a little upward arrow going up, you can see it's an emerging pattern. It's still trading within its range. So would I trade something like this? I'm not sure I would. Certainly the trend in the short term is down. This might be a good opportunity to just watch this. If it bounces, if it goes short or bounces down from this resistance level, might be a good opportunity to go short on some natural gas futures. If you guys trade futures, of course. I'm not sure if you do or you don't. Let's get back to forex. So let me continue with that. Oh, there's a whole bunch of breakouts coming through now on the forex market. Let me highlight those for you. So it looks like Swiss franc, Japanese yen has broken through support level on 30 minutes and and 60 minutes. So it looks like approaching support now. I might want to look at Swiss franc Japanese yen on its way down to 136.12. And I don't have a trading screen open in front of me right now, so I don't actually see the action of what's going on right now because I had to step out of my office into a quiet room to do the webinar, so I'm away from my big monitors with my trading screens. So apologies for that I don't have the latest market information right now as we're talking. Okay, let me quickly move on to the second part of the second most important part of what Autochartist does. I just saw another question. Do we trade the colored arrows or the gray arrows? So Sandy, I hope that I pronounced that name correctly. Sandy, okay, so let me go through that again. If you believe in breakout, right, breakout trading, that means you're a trend follower, right? Then you should be looking at the colored arrows, okay? Because in this example here, you can see that the price has broken through the support, and there's going to be a continuation in the trend. If you are not a believer in the phrase "the trend is your friend," and you believe in mean reversion, that means if something's moved, it's going to move back again. Then you should be trading the gray arrows. Here's another example. So this gray arrow, GBP USD, the price looks like it's turned around against resistance at 152.01, and potentially there's a move back down to the support level. So Sandy, to answer your question, whether to trade the colored arrows or the gray arrows, it depends on your trading style, really. What I normally do is in trending markets, I trade the colored arrows, but in sideways moving markets, I trade the gray arrows. Okay, so you know, I guess that gives you an idea, because you know, sometimes the market goes through consolidation periods and the market is moving sideways, and then all you're doing is you're sitting on cash and it's not working for you, right? So I like to be in the market. I like to have you know, I like to have my skin in the game. So even if there's sideways markets, I like to play these what I call you know, emerging patterns. But if you're not that kind of person, if you're waiting, you're sitting on your capital waiting for a trending market, then certainly the colored arrows are the ones that you should be trading. All right, so let me move on. Let's assume you want to trade this GBP USD example, but the next most popular question that people ask me, okay, Len, I'm trading something. How do I set my stop loss and my take profit, right? So man, Autochartist offers a phenomenal tool. I actually think it's one of our best tools that we offer and the most underutilized. We call it volatility analysis. And let me show you what this tool is all about. So let's just say you're trading, you're wanting to trade Euro USD. There's a section in the volatility analysis called Euro USD price movement range by hour of day. Now let me explain to you what this is, and I'll explain to you how to use this tool. So for all of you who have been in the market for a while, you'll know that different instruments trade with different amount of volatility at different times of day. So so you cannot trade. You know what? I'm actually a bit distracted because I see so many questions coming through. Hey, Errol, what do you think? Do you think I should be answering questions now or answering questions later? It is quite an intimate group, so I almost feel like I want to answer them now.
Yeah, maybe answer them now, if you want to.
Okay, all right. Yeah, let me do that. It's such a small group. I feel like I want to be more personal. So thanks, Andre and John, for your questions. I'm not going to change my screen right now, but Andre is asking, so a trending market, trade colored lines or completed patterns? That's right, Andre. That's what I would do in a trending market. Certainly, you should be trading breakout patterns. So breakout or completed patterns, whatever you want to call them. And Andre, that's right. So in ranging markets, you should be trading the gray or emerging patterns. The only thing I got to note is, please note what John is saying. John's question is a swing trader. Is he a short-term trader? And I have to say, Andre, that you need to be aware of what John is asking, because John is correct. A swing trader is a short-term trader. Many swing trades, that means trading between the lines, happen at a much shorter time period and within a shorter time frame, unless of course you're trading like daily candles or something. But in the most part, swing traders, traders that are trading between the lines, are traders that are trading very short term. And you should also try and avoid trading swing trades on currency pairs that are not USD based, right? So currency pairs with big spreads, because what's going to happen, you could be making 5-10 pips on a swing trade, but then all of that gets chewed up by costs. So be very aware. Don't trade any exotic pairs swing trading in the very short term, because you're going to be making the right calls, but you're going to be losing money because the costs are just going to take you out of the market. So just be well aware of that. Okay, so let me move on. So in terms of setting stop loss and take profit, so, I meet many traders in the market, and a lot of the new traders that come to us ask us like, okay, I can trade up and down, whatever, I understand, but I have to set stop losses and take profits, right? So they say, you know what, I'm actually just going to choose a strategy that where I trade a 10 pip stop loss on Euro USD. And then I show them this graph of the daily movement by hour of day for Euro USD. And I say, well, you're trading a 10 pip stop loss on Euro USD. That means you should be trading. Oh, let me choose a different color pen. That color pen sucks. Let me choose this bright blue one. If you're using a 10 pip stop loss on Euro USD, you basically should be trading between 3 p.m. Chicago time through to midnight Chicago time, right? So if you're trading that time of day, then you can trade Euro USD with that kind of stop loss. But if you are, because that's the average movement of Euro USD during that time for every hour. If you're trading during the early morning New York time or Chicago time, right? Euro USD is moving on average 30 to 32 pips on average, right? With a kind of a lower end of 20 pips to a high end of 40 pips, right? If you're trading with a stop loss of 10 pips during that time of day, you are going to take yourself out of the market. You're not even giving yourself a chance to make money in the market. You know what's going to happen? I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen if you do that. You're going to open your trade. The market's going to knock you out because of market volatility, and you're going to make a loss, and then it's going to go in the direction you initially expected to go in, or you forecasted to go in. And then you're going to go to your broker, and you're going to complain to them that they stopped you out of the market and they manipulated the prices and all that, which is complete nonsense, because the broker doesn't need your 10 bucks. He's got tons of tradings going long and short in lots of different directions. And you're going to find someone else to blame. But actually, the only person to blame is actually yourself, because you haven't taken a market appropriate stop loss. Okay, when I mean by market appropriate, if you're trading euro dollar in New York morning, right, or through the London session, you choose a bigger stop loss, right? Because you know the market's going to move up and down, and what you don't want to do is you don't want to get knocked out because of pure volatility and noise. You want to get knocked out. You accept getting knocked out if you just made the wrong call, right? You called it in the wrong way. You take it on the chin, you walk away. But you don't want to get knocked out thinking, oh man, I got knocked out just because the damn market moved so much, right? It was so volatile. That really sucks, right? You just don't want to do that. So this is what this volatility analysis tool is, and you'll find many of our top traders in the market are all looking actually at Autochartist. Even the very popular market gurus are all referencing us for that tool. It's one of the most underestimated, underutilized tools that there is in the market. So I urge you to keep looking at this. So higher up in the volatility analysis tool is the expected volatility for every instrument from the current price, right? So at 8 a.m. Chicago time, the price of euro dollar was 1.1560, and Autochartist forecast the price to trade within the next 1 hour between that price over there and that price, 1.1538 and 1.1589. So if you're planning to open a position and hold your trade for longer than, let's say, an hour, you shouldn't be setting your stop loss and take profit within this range. If you're planning to trade euro dollar for more than 4 hours, right, then set your stop loss and take profits even further out, right? And we give you the numbers. If you're planning to trade it for a day, like a longer term type of a trade, then you shouldn't be setting your stop loss or take profit within 114 or one looks like 115 and 116.27, right? Because that's the expected volatility for the next 24 hours, right? So when you're trading, you open your position, and now you have to set a stop loss and a take profit, which you must always do. Always, always, always do it, right? Then, try reference this tool in order to help you set that those stops and limits. Okay, let me take a breath. Phew. Actually, I end up shouting when I talk about that because I'm on the Financial Commission, which is a self-regulated body which helps brokers and traders resolve issues around stop losses and take profits and that kind of thing. And I can almost say almost 100% of the time, the main problem that a trader is trying to resolve is the fact that he thinks a broker has actually moved the market against him and stopped him out, where actually the trader put a completely unreasonable stop loss into the market at the time of day that he was trading. But so I feel quite passionately about, because I resolve these conflicts almost on a daily basis. So please let me know, resolve a conflict from the audience in this webinar. All right, so I move on. So we've spoken about trading opportunities, which is the identification of support and resistance levels in the market, and then we've traded. Oh, wow! It looks like we've got some noisy data there on corn. Then we've spoken about the volatility analysis, which helps you with setting of support with take profit and stop loss levels. The next thing I wanna show you all is the messaging and alert section. Sorry, I've got another email coming through from Andre. Is this 8 a.m. GMT updated constantly once a day? Okay, so Andre, let me. I hope I'm understanding your question correctly. Autochartist can be set to whatever time zone you're in. So I am currently set to America, Chicago. You can set your time zone to whatever you're in. Autochartist updates itself on the trading opportunities every 15 minutes. The volatility analysis updates also every 15 minutes. So everything on this platform that you see updates every 15 minutes. So I hope that answers your question. John, I don't know what you're asking. In your advice, how do you place my SL and my stop loss and take profit? Okay, I'm not quite sure what you're asking. Perhaps I can open a trading platform and actually show you guys what I mean. Let me do that. I'm going to pause my screen for just a second while I bring up a trading platform. Give me just give me 1 second. Excuse me. I'm just going to bring up a trading platform, show you guys what I'm talking about. How am I going to do this, because my trading platform is too big for my little laptop screen? Sorry guys, I'm just trying to get my my trading platform to come up. Okay, here we go. All right, let me share my screen with you. Okay, I hope you all can see. I've opened up a little demo trading screen that I've got. Okay, so all right, so I hope you all can see my trading screen. Errol, can you give me a thumbs up if you can? Okay, good. All right, we've got it. Okay, so just to give you an example, this is a platform called MetaTrader. You guys might or might not have MetaTrader, but I'll give you an example. This is Euro USD. You can see there's a major dive right now. If you didn't expect that, I'm not quite sure what you expect when there's quantitative easing, but people call that right. Certainly, there's a lot of volatility happening here right now, but if you can all see these blue lines, it's not very clear right now. So much volatility in the market. Okay, Autochartist called Euro USD short on this is a 30-minute graph, so it called it short, called the news announcement correctly, it looks like. And then Autochartist provides these lines, which is really the equivalent of that trumpet-shaped picture I showed you a few seconds ago in my web browser. So these lines actually show you what the volatility is for the next, or expected to be for the next few hours. So John, if you, for example, were expecting to place your trade and actually close it tomorrow, then you might consider setting a take profit or a stop loss depending on the direction you took a position in, at 114.56, or again, your stop loss or take profit at 115.48. So, these are exceptional times in the market right now, so because it's so volatile. But what I'm trying to show you is that you can actually use Autochartist to give you the expected volatility, the expected price range movement of an instrument for the next 24 hours, right? So you can actually place an appropriate stop loss or take profit, because you can see based on current volatility to place a stop loss here or take profit here somewhere, you're going to be knocked out of the market in a matter of minutes due to current volatility. And that's not what you want to do. You don't want to get knocked out of the market because of volatility. You want to give yourself a fighting chance. You want to take profit or lose money on whether you've made the right decision or made the right forecast, not just simply because of noise. Roshan, yes, I do understand that there's a lot of, Roshan is asking for video recording. Definitely you'll get a video recording. We'll put up the video in the next day or so. In the meantime, let me bring up my Autochartist platform again, and we can look at that again. John, I'm not going to carry on with that too much. I hope I've answered your question. And let me carry on. I'm just going to wait for my screen to come through to everybody. Now, if you're lazy like me and you want to know what's going on in the market before you start opening your trading screens and whatnot, and your Autochartist platform, Autochartist gives you quite an easy way of doing that. You can go onto the messaging and alert section and subscribe to our report, which you can get once, twice, or 3 times a day before the open of Asia, before the open of the Europe, and before the open of the US in the language of your choice. And in that report, you will see a market overview for the next day or two. Now, why is that not loading? Oh, here it is. We've got a ton of traffic happening, hitting our servers right now. The report comes through with a bit of information. It's got an upcoming high impact news events coming up soon over the next 8 hours. So we know now people never always discounted this little section in our reports. Now everyone's just watching this this section, and you can see if you had opened this report a few hours ago, you would have seen that we would have told you that there's an ECB announcement coming up today, so you would have been prepared for the volatility. You can also see that jobless claims is coming out and retail sales are coming out in the UK. So some big news events coming out today. There's a little notification panel of any important news from your broker, the market movements, and this is the real juicy bit, is obviously the forecasts that we made. So this report went out. This is the USD report. So it went out quite a few hours ago. So we made a good call on Euro USD. So we thought it was going to go up, and it certainly did go up quite a lot. over that time period when this report was made. So there's a whole array of very brief summary, a technical overview of the market. And what we expect for the next kind of 8 to 48 hours of what's going to happen in the market. This is what I look at before I even open my my trading platforms. I get this email in my, I mostly browse through it in my on my telephone when I wake up just to see what's going on. You can obviously sit at your computer and read it from your mailbox. Okay. So we've been going for 30 minutes, so let me quickly do one more thing. I'm not going to go very deeply into it, but Autochartist also monitors how well we do in the markets in terms of, we provide a section called performance statistics. This performance statistics is not a measure of how much money you'll make. It's a measure of how often we hit our target level that we forecast. Now, I'm not going to go very deeply into it, but what I want to show you is that Autochartist combines its trading opportunities that it gives you, that we discussed slightly earlier, today together with the performance stats, and we provide a section called Our Favorites. And Our Favorites is really the opportunities that are available in the market right now that have a high probability of hitting the forecast level based on past performance. Now, this is a disclaimer. Past performance might not be indicative of future performance, right? You guys have all heard all the educators say, give you that disclaimer, but it's very, very important to know that, right? So we keep a past performance over the last 6 months, and based over that 6 months, we monitor which patterns like channels and head and shoulders and inverse head and shoulders did the best. We monitor what times of day did the best and which instruments we did the best on, and then we provide you these Our Favorites, which is a list of opportunities which we think have the highest probability of success. So right now we have a few opportunities on, it looks like, on EuroCAD, AUD USD, GBP AUD, a couple of decent looking opportunities right now in the market. Now this, Our Favorite section, is actually thanks, Sam. I just got a message from Sam. He says, great webinar, thanks, an excellent website, which I love using. Have to go now. Thanks, Sam, for the kind words. See you soon. So if your broker provides Our Favorites, then you can also get this on your mobile app, and this Our Favorites section is what streams through to you on your mobile app. So it'll beep at you, letting you know when there's a new opportunity on the Our Favorites section. So John is saying that his chart hasn't moved since Friday the 16th. Alpari is his broker. John, I'm sorry to let you know, I'm not sure which Alpari you're trading with, but Alpari is under administration right now, and you might be with a broker that's out of business. I'm not quite sure exactly what's going on there. I don't know the latest information. I do know it's under administration by the FCA. I do believe that your funds are protected by the FCA and the regulators. I don't think you need to worry about your funds, but your charts might not be moving because your broker might not be in business anymore. Yeah, that's the one, John. I think you might want to call the broker just to make sure what's actually going on with them. They might be out of business due to last week's Swiss franc movement. So I don't mean to alarm you, but that is the truth. Don't worry about your funds. Your funds should be protected by the regulator because they run under segregated accounts. Well, on that note, I hope no one has been a casualty of last week's Swiss franc move. That was certainly a huge move. Some people profited, some people made massive losses. I hope none of you were affected by that. And with that, I want to call it a day. I've got a few more questions coming through. Uttam, so we currently do not cover the Indian markets right now. Oh, Shah, I'm really sorry, man. You're saying the Swiss bank wiped your account? Oh no. Oh no. Okay, that's absolutely shocking. But did you have a position open, or just because you were because your broker went out of business. I hope, man, I don't know which is worse. Sorry about that. That's insane. I think everyone now is starting to look at um, these news releases. It's very, very upsetting to hear that, so many people were hit so badly by the Swiss franc move. It was just, absolute. It was a huge earthquake in the world of forex. I was actually in the market, but on a very, very small position. So I got hit a little bit, but I just lost a few $100s. It was nothing really significant. So Kennard is asking me, what is event impact analysis? I guess I should have. Hey, Errol. Errol's probably going to be laughing. He said, that's the first thing you should have spoken about, seeing as what happened to the Swiss franc. Hey, Errol. I can see Errol laughing, giggling inside. Okay, so event impact analysis is a tool that is only offered by a very select few brokers out there in the world. It actually tells you, about about the effect that different financial events have on the market. So if we go to what was going on today, which is the EU ECB announcements. So if we chose EU ECB announcements, my computer is just a bit slow here. Let's give it a moment to come up. I think about a gazillion people are currently requesting the same data that I am. So sorry, everybody. While it's loading, let me tell you about what this product actually does. So when you choose, it allows you to choose an economic event, and based on the economic event you've chosen, it actually lets you know what the past effect of that economic event was on the market. So here it is. I've chosen European Monetary Union, the ECB announcements. Let's see the effect on Euro USD. So we can see actually that. So what is the conclusion? Interesting conclusions. So there's actually no conclusion we can draw. So what we've got here is the last 12 events of the ECB announcement and the graphs of what happened subsequent to the event. So let's give an example. So you can see here that this was the announcement, and this is what happened to Euro USD 4 hours later. And here this was the announcement, and that's what happened to Euro USD, etc., etc. So it looks like there's been almost no difference between the actual and the delta, and almost no effects. You can draw very little conclusion from these ECB announcements. Certainly, let's choose something else. Let's say United States. Bear with me, everyone, while we look at this. So United States Consumer Price Index. Okay, United States Consumer Price Index. Or let's see, employment situation. That's a good one. All right, so if we wanted to look at the effects of United States employment situation on Euro USD, then we can have a look at that now. So we can see the last few events that have happened, obviously visually. Then we get a summary of what happened between when the delta is obviously the difference between the expected and the actual value. And then what was the trend subsequently. And we can draw some conclusions. We can see here we can draw some conclusions. So when the delta was positive, when the actual figures that came out were higher than the figures that were expected, then the 4 hourly trends were bearish, right? So 71% of the time, 4 hourly trend was bearish. So that means that the news came out, the employment situation, it was high employment than expected. Then 5 out of 7 times the price moved down of Euro USD, right? That means the USD strengthened. Right. Similarly, the other way, when the delta was negative, that means with the release number was smaller than the expected one, then 80% of the time, 4 out of 5 times, the trend was bullish. So in that way, if you, for example, have United States employment situation coming up, which I think we do now, you can have a look at this, watch what the news event says in terms of the numbers being higher or lower than the expected value, and take a position appropriately. So we're actually trying to make traders smarter in terms of actually being able to trade news events. But of course, many of the news events are just 50-50 gambles. So, you need to be very, very cautious when trading news, of course. All right, I have gone way over my time. I'm 10 minutes over my time. I'm calling it a day. You guys can all get back to your trading screens and watch the action. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. And Errol, you're going to put up the recording probably by tomorrow or the next day, and we'll email all of you to let you know that it is ready. Thank you all, and good luck out there with all this volatility. Bye. The next webinar will be, I guess, next week or the following week, Errol?
There's one scheduled for 2 weeks' time, but we can talk about maybe doing one next week. Something maybe on the topic.
While I'm in South Africa, let me do another one. Let's do another one while I'm in South Africa next week.
Okay.